Ladies and gentlemen, first is to thank you for your, continued support, your love, prayers, for Bahati. This year is special for me. It's a new decade, 2020, and I'll be celebrating my 7th year in music ministry and, in the industry at large. And, for me, 7 is a special number, 7 is perfection for me. 7 is, is that perfect number of God. And this year, we are achieving more than we have ever achieved any other year in Jesus' name. And, the reason I'm doing this video is because I may receive a lot of emails, a lot of DMs, a lot of requests, from you loyal fans that have been supporting Bahati since day one and requesting me just to say a word, on what has been happening, around Bahati and majorly EMB Entertainment. We were to do a statement as EMB Entertainment, but I thought, let me do something special for you because this is for the people I respect, the people that don't just take rumors from blogs, the people that believe in the truth. As Bahati, I rarely respond, I rarely respond to issues, majorly I don't respond to bloggers because most of their stories are basically rumors. And for me, I'm sorry to say this, but most of the bloggers for me are just lazy keyboard warriors who don't do the investigations. And, it's hard for you to respond to someone that is not willing to sit down and investigate on anything. You understand? One of my favorite Bible verses has been Exodus 14:13, that be still and know that I am God. What does that mean? At times you have to wait for God to respond on your side, because when the Bible says, even when you are acting, leave a space for God's wrath. Because I always believe God is the best revenge. And my silence has been my power, because in James 1:19, the Bible says that be slow to anger, be slow to speak, but be quick to listen. At times, you rather listen to what people are saying. It's more profitable to listen than to speak. And that's why I call this a special video, because I'll speak nothing but the truth. It's good for you to note that I'm not here to explain myself, but I'm here to tell you the truth. You that has been requesting me to tell you the truth. And that's why I even carried the Bible, because, I believe in saying the truth, because only the truth can set you free. And this is the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's somehow sad that today I'm seated here and I have to tell you about someone that I've passionately fought to see, their star rise from nothing, to see them become something. And if I can tell you the story, I met Peter Blessing roughly 6 months ago. And before I met him, Peter Blessing alikuwa na visit gate ya ofisi yangu frequently for over 9 months. Akilia hapo nje, he was in need of help and akisema ako talented, anatafuta mtu amsaidie, mtu a invest kwa music yake. And it was a time that personally, because this is not the first time I'm going through this, ilikuwa ile time nilikuwa na request God, na mwambia I don't want to do this musician helping again. I was actually willing, if kama nikusaidia, I just help a children's home. Nilikuwa hata nimeshaanza kusaidia watu wako kwa different fields. I've been paying for kids school fees, watoto wa nje, because nilikuwa naona there was no need of unachukua artist and then hata sayo ajulikani, sayo hata ajui mpasho inakuanga wapi, lakini all of a sudden akipata nini kidogo they change. And even ile time Peter Blessing analia pale kwa gate, I was like, God, I hope sijirudishi kwa the same story again. But the first time na meet, nakumbuka I was driving out of the office and naona mtu amevaa majaketi za soja. It was around 6 p.m. Amesimama kwa gari, ana try kusikia attention. Kusimama kanilia, mi naitwa hivi, nimetoka Voi, Taita Taveta, nilikuja Nairobi specifically kukutafuta sababu nilisikia unakuanga na roho ya kusaidia new upcoming artists. And because he was not the first one, nilikuwa napatanga watu every now and then. So this boy was given an opportunity, akarecord, and then I became busy because I was doing my ambassadorial jobs. The next time I meet this boy, ni ile saa nikitoka ofisi tena akienda job. And he literally cried. Yeni watchman, anaumia, anapigwa na baridi, I felt it. I remember that same day nilimpea tu pesa ya sapa, and because I was not really sure if I needed to sign someone else. The next time I come to the studio, I meet my brother Kioko, who was working at TMB then, akiwa na Wisdom, and they were like, akiu mtoto anaumia sana. I remember specifically Wisdom is the one who insisted that saidia umtoi, and according to my new structure, anytime I sign an artist, I take almost a year to do mentorship, to make them, sababu we had to do a lot, because alikuwa tu anaimba, but he was not good in songwriting. He didn't know how to arrange a song. So at this time, Wisdom specifically was pushing me that mtoto tukingoja 1 year ndio nimsaidie, nimfanye mentorship, atakuwa ameumia zaidi kwa gate. So they were like, msaidie sahi kama unaweza. And that's the time we offered Peter Blessing an opportunity ile ya let's offer him an opportunity to sign a contract. We gave him a contract, and I think that was alikana almost 2 months. Why did we give him a 2 months period to read the contract? Sababu every time ukipea artist, or rather when our company gives the artist a contract, we give them enough time. Why? Because sababu atuko tu interested na mtu kusign. When an artist signs the contract, it is not helping us, but tunakupea contract sababu tunataka, if you're not comfortable with anything, you come back, unasema nibadilishie hii, ni change this 1 2 3 things. Because when an artist akona hiyo njaa ku make it, at times they want to do, yani anachukua everything unamwambia. Because I remember hata Peter ali respond in like 3 days that I'm ready to sign the contract, and I was like, no, you need to take time, get a lawyer, go through the contract. And we gave him 2 months. After 2 months, even after signing the contract, the reason I said si ati natusaidia, it's because, guys, let me make you understand. And I know I'm talking to learned people that can consult. Guys, our music industry is tricky and unpredictable. You can sing for 3, 4, 5 years without making a dime. So hata nikikupea hii contract, si expect any money. It's just because at the long run, I want to protect myself, or rather the company has to be protected, and to protect the artist as well. That's why it is signed and commissioned by a magistrate, you know. And even after signing, one thing I knew, for me, this was another burden, because I was not expecting any money in the next 5. At times, kuna artist hata anakaa 10 years. You can ask musicians outside there. Kuna mtu anakaa 10 years without making money out of this music. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, our contracts are, you know, or rather contracts are confidential. But kuna kitu moja nitawaelezea. When EMB Entertainment gives the artist a contract, they give you a musical contract. They deal with everything that is music related. I wish, I don't know if it's legal or illegal, our lawyers will tell us, but I wish to give a copy to the public, you know, to understand that our contracts zinakuangaza kukurekodia muziki, which is the most expensive part. Studio time, to make sure we shoot for you free videos, to make sure we do the marketing for you, to make sure we get to events, to make sure we package you in a way that the public will accept you as an artist. This is the hardest process in making an artist. But kwa hii case ya Peter Blessing, what I did was, I knew I'm not entering into this for money, because I was not expecting any money any soon. In my heart, my motive was to touch a life, to make sure kuona if God can use me, nione mtoto ameacha kuwa soja, ameanza tu life tofauti. What does that mean? I chose to do the exact thing I will do for Morgan as a parent, or for my baby Hev, or Mweni. Yani nikajitolea nikue kama mzazi. Nikimeki hii decision, that's the reason, na naongea Bible ikiwa hapa kando yangu. That's the reason I chose to want to know huyu mtoto ametoka wapi, kama ni ukweli ametoka hiyo Taita Taveta, kama ukweli kwao kuna shida. Sababu kama ni contract ya muziki, anafaa kufanya hata kazi zake zingine, si tunamsaidia musically, you know. But we chose to do things that are not in the contract, just to make sure life ya mtoto imechange. And and you guys saw on Bahati reality, hiyo ndio siku moja nikaamua kumsurprise. Nikaenda, I remember I woke up at 4 am nikamsurprise juu alikuwa anajua ataka almost 1 year before aanze kutoa muziki according to our guidelines as a company. But as a human being, I chose hata nisifanye according to what our company guidelines zinasema. Nikamchukua, we surprised him pale job, tukaenda kwa Taita Taveta. I remember, you know, alikuwa amekaa almost 1 year without seeing the parents, and it was a bit sad. We did a shopping and all that. Why did I visit the parents? First, if you're taking anyone's child, unamchukua, of course he is a grown up. The contract side, company hezi kusign kama uyuko over 18. So he signed the contract as a grown up. But for me, in my heart, I knew this is, ni Mungu amenipea, msaidie. And kufika kwao, the request that I requested the parents was, mtoto aliachia shule form 3, form 2. And because my focus was not what we signed in the contract, I offered, I want to take this boy back to school. And personally, that was the reason I visited the parents. We talked and all that. And because on the side of the contract, we had already agreed on the business aspect of the contract that he signed, I spent that first video, the very first video. Guys, this is very confidential, but I spent over 300K because I had to carry a director for 3 days. I had a team of 22 people with me in Taita Taveta. Hawa watu hawakuwa wameenda kufanya CSR. These were people on a salary. But I was blind to that because my focus was to touch. So guys, we are back in Nairobi, and I remember everything I did was, was all about promoting this guy. At a point, I even sacrificed my social media as a brand ambassador of so many products. There are a few weeks, almost a month, that niliachadi kupost, my clients, the sponsors. I was all about, support, guys support, Peter Blessing, guys do what. Because for me it was a burden. And I also want to thank, my wife Diana for taking in, unajua kuna unasawadi wife yako na watoto ufocus na mtu, and thank you for believing in what God has put in my heart. And so guys, because you requested me to tell you this story, today I promised you to give you nothing but the truth, and truth with facts. In a short while, I chose to focus on, this young man's music. If even new viewers, mnaweza kuwa real with me, you'll accept when I say I even forgot about Bahati and my music, just to make sure I focus on these artists that I'm supporting, Wisdom, Peter Blessing, Deno, and all these others. na kwanza nikajisahau, nikasema let me focus on this guy until nione amefika place. And we invested on videos back to back at such a time when the economy is not good. The company knows, because as the CEO, there are people, the officials, the other directors, and they know so well that we are not making any money soon. So the only money that is being used to support this guy was pesa inajengwa EMB Entertainment, and then they put it back, you know. And I'll prove to you that there is no money made through signing these artists. Yani, there is a contract, but what drives the contract is the heart of helping. We did a few songs. We made sure that this guy is everywhere on TV, interviews and all this. And guys, when it was almost time for this guy to go back to school, he was like, no, wacheni kwanza niimbe. So I had to understand, but back at my mind, I knew come 2020 January, this guy had to go back to school. But because amesema ache imbe, and I'm passionate, I know I'm pushing this guy to be great, I just continued. But again, you know, I'm telling you what I'm not supposed to tell you. Ule kijana nilichukua pale kukua akiwa soja, akiwa nisaidie nini, akakuwa hawezi sikiza hata wale officials wameekwa, because as an artist you are given a manager, you are given a social media handler, and somehow you're given a PA and a music manager. Music, like any other business, is a fight. It's a fight because for you to be at the top, a lot is put in. Agree, disagree, talent is only 10-20%, you know. There are people who fight every day. There are people, you know, who are on the road making sure your music is on the streets. There are people who are fighting, you know, online to make sure you have those numbers. And ikakuwa haizi sikiza hawa watu, sababu amekuwa celeb. Unajua sasa when anyone notice amekuwa celeb, it just becomes difficult. But because of course, even as a leader, you don't react to things that quickly. You take your time. I sat down with him severally, and I remember nilikuwa namjokia kila saa nikimwambia, you know, we are sacrificing a lot for you to be great. And one thing I always joked with, nilikuwa namwambia, learn to be grateful. Juu usipo, I spoke this severally, just jokingly, nikimwambia usipo kesho kesho wewe ndio utakuwa unatupeleka tuko mpasho. And you know, you because I've seen people change. As an artist, as someone who has been here for years, I know fame changes a person in a, you know, in a minute. You become a different person. But even with all these reports, my concern ilianza mahali issue ya kijana Peter Blessing na wanawake ilianza kukua serious sana. They were living with one of the managers called Sylvester, you know. and una notice mahali wanaishi ni kama to them tuna complain na inakuwa, I know you guys understand. And my fear was, mtoto nataka kumrudisha shule January. Allow me to address him like that because he's like a son to me. Of course, under EMB Entertainment there's a contract, but vitu nilikuwa namfanyia si za artist. Hata Deno atujui, atulipangi rent ya Deno, atumnunuliangi chakula. We support him musically, but for him it was a different case. Na mimi nikaogopa kesho sitaki kusikia scandal ya mtu amepeana mimba. You know, for Peter Blessing it was still too early, and I had to be concerned. I sat him down a few times, but sikuwa najua ule kijana ule unajua, I'm still akili yangu ilikuwa bado inajua ina advice mtu alikuwa soja jana, mtu anataka kuenda mbali. So kwa akili yangu sikuwa najua mtu ashajua yeye ni superstar. You understand? Akona already advisors, people that never knew him before. As a parent, the moment I sat Peter Blessing down, he was like, sio hivyo, you know, because I also wanted, unajua mimi ni boys na kukuwa na girlfriend hata sio mbaya if I can treat it as a current generation parent, but you know it's risky ukiona mtu ana exchange. There's nothing I fear as teenage pregnancies because it can mess your life. Mtoto wa mtu hapa anaweza pata mimba, pia kuna maugonjwa, and you know, I remember I sat down with him a few times. My concern kubwa ingine ikiwa, you know, the way people, you know, when watu kwa ofisi wana complain, huyu si ule Peter aliletwa, huyu si ule alikuwa mpole, huyu ameanza kukua celeb, huyu, you know, yani nilikuwa namkalisha chini kama big bro, kama baba, like you still have a long way to go. And you know, this kid has not struggled. We have struggled ourselves. Mimi nikigrow sijapata mtu alikuwa ananipea studio time for free, ati na shoot wa video for free, na nunuliwa nguo. Peter Blessing alikuwa anapewa pesa ya chakula monthly kama mfanyikazi. And you know, someone who has not worked for this, they cannot understand. You know, the artists outside here, even you fans mnajua, they are stars. Hata wanaimba like na wako na wimbo hata zinajulikana nje, and guys are still struggling. It's a tough industry. And I tried talking to him as a brother, but my biggest shock was on 31st December when on stage performing, and then sijaambiwa, I saw it with my two eyes. I'm ministering, I'm performing, you know, because we thank the Lord that our show was one of the biggest, thousands attended. But then I perform on the right side ya backstage. Naona ule kijana wangu ameshikiliwa na dem. Okay. But kama mwanaume pia nikacheza chini. The year began, and one of the things that he didn't know, I had already booked the school yenye alikuwa naingia sababu nilikuwa nataka arudi form 3. at least na make sure amefanya KCSE, he has that certificate, because I also believe in education. Education is power. I remember the first money that I signed off was to pay school fees, and we got a school along Thika Road in Ruiru, because that's where I stayed near the studio. And just before he was to report, again the management had an issue, but they most of the times when the management has an issue, especially a disciplinary issue, they don't involve me in everything. So they called him for a meeting, and this time they got the shock of the year. Peter Blessing akawambia yeye ajisikii kuwa meet. Huyu mtu unaambia ujisikii kumit ni ule mtu ndio he is fighting for you on the ground every day and night. As much as I'm paying them as employees, you know, you just have to respect them. They are human beings, you know. And I think it got out of hand and they had to involve me. And each time na come in, and it is very important for the public to note this, because bloggers have misled the public. That's why I call them lazy, and you know, they're just keyboard warriors seated somewhere lazily, not doing investigations, but just writing. Wanangoja wapigie mtu simu, Bahati tumesikia hii, wanasikianga tu. Bloggers, when will we ever have facts at a single day? So I sit I sit down with Peter Blessing, and this time we heard of complaints zikifika kaa 3, at least we have to give you a disciplinary action. But this time we had over 7 complaints, and they were serious. Na even me, the company's EMB Entertainment Management ikaanza kukuwa tough on me, because they had questions. Why am I so lenient on him? But it's because I knew when you want to help someone, at times you become blind to their mistakes. And this one time, and it is good for the public to know this, I'm not talking this to give bloggers the right information. That's why I'm talking to those fans that were concerned. They needed to hear the truth. Not my side of the story, but the truth. And that's why I don't care about what bloggers wrote. In fact, I'm not sitting here because of bloggers. That is the first day in 2020. During that meeting, that is the first day I called the parents. And it was on that January. I called the parents and nikawaelezea, nikapigia, and I spoke to the mom as a fellow parent. Mimi pia ni mzazi, and ningependa mtoto wangu atritiwaje, pengine ameenda shule ako na mistake, ningependa atritiwaje. And nikaelezea, nikamwambia Mama Peter, there is 1, 2, 3 issues, and I have literally stopped the management from taking any disciplinary action against Peter Blessing. But I have a request. I'm requesting you come in and talk to your son. Try kumwonyesha he has a future, bado hajaanza. And you still have a long way to go. So nikatuma Peter Blessing Taita Taveta. Nikamuuliza fare ni pesa ngapi? Akaniambia, aliniambia 900. Aliniambia 900. That is the day I gave Peter Blessing 3,000. I gave Peter Blessing 3,000 as transport and money on the road. Because he is still an artist signed under the record label. So, lazima nijue atakula nini. As much as it's not on the contract. Now, that it's like, ni kama my son. It's still funny. And sababu this 3K ya fare na food nimeiona tena kwa hawa tunawaambia they are just lazy and keyboard warriors without research.